Very occasionally, there are things that are worth revisiting. This is Abulzz Targa Florio, 1973, or 73, as it actually says. But a special stage that is a test stage. We're taking a look at LIDAR data and some texture improvements. This is version 0.4.1 that was actually released almost to the day a year ago, May 18th, 2024. It's the latest version that I found on his Patreon page. And I know he's doing other work to improve this and bring it to life. But this is a really great example of great workmanship and a usable work in progress early access that is an example for others to follow. Why do I say this? I recently was looking at some announcements from SimTracks about some tracks that are works in progress that they released, downloadable capabilities for. And, how do I say this politely? I'm not going to say it politely. They were crap. They were broken, didn't install cleanly, had missing pieces. I fell through the map in one of them. The other one was such a short stretch of road that was incomplete on both ends that it was almost an embarrassment. And I've seen that with SimTracks before where, they'll release stuff as work in progress, charge money for it. Like, in order to access it, you actually have to pay money for it. And it wasn't worth the money. It was paid for it. And it never develops. It never finishes. They never finish that work that they start. I've never seen a completed track by SimTracks. I've seen a lot of works in progress that were drivable. Some of them were actually quite enjoyable. And so I was disappointed. I was actually looking to showcase Turnbull today, and couldn't get it to work right. And just disappointing. This is much better. Abulzz has done a great job here. I'm actually truly impressed. There are very little things that I have questions about, and all those questions are actually questions about my configuration, not the track. Because I see some pop in on the track and stuff, and I think that is, for the most part, related to my LOD settings. Like, you see that white on the road that just was there and disappeared. You can see some up here on the right, and I get close to it and boom, pops out. I have no idea what that is. I have to play around with some settings and see if I can figure that out. The mountains are freaking breathtaking. I don't know what that's about, but that's absolutely crazy how vivid those are. And I warned you I was going to go slow. Yeah, so early access, tracks that are works in progress. There's some fundamental rules that you really should follow as a software development house, whether you're, a full gaming development shop or where you're a modder that is just doing some work on an existing track, or, building new tracks, improving or remastering old ones. And that's to just make sure that whatever you're building fundamentally installs and works. It can be incomplete. If you have roadways that end, put a sign up that just says, hey, work in progress. This road ends here, right? Don't just have people fall off the map. Make sure that your package has all the necessary files to install an Assetto Corsa without showing errors. This file's missing, that file's missing. Nobody likes to deal with that crap. Warning messages when I load up a map worry me for a whole host of reasons. And it makes me doubt your professionalism, or professionalism is a wrong word for a hobbyist endeavor, your commitment to making sure things work. One of the things I always used to do, so I managed software releases as part of a product management discipline, so working with developers that were releasing product. And one of the things I always used to do is I used to ask them, so how did you test it? I tested it on my machine. It worked on my machine. Okay. Alarm bells should go off in everybody's head if somebody says that. If you've only tested in your own environment where you've actually done your development, chances are really good you missed something, because you've probably got something bespoke that has made that work in your environment. Boy, that was a fun little corner. Got something in your environment that has been customized to make things work the way you expect them to work, and not everybody's going to have that. So one of the things I always used to say is, like, until you can install this on a vanilla installation, and if it requires things that you've documented what's required to make it work, then the job's not done. Because I don't care if it runs on your development machine. That's all good and fine. If it can install on a user's machine with a vanilla setup, like an Assetto Corsa install with Content Manager and a proper version of Custom Shader Patch. All those things are pretty much required, and people know it now. And they come to expect that. If you've got other requirements, then those need to be articulated, so that the user can do what's necessary to install and actually get onto the business of actually driving whatever it is you've produced. If they've got to diagnose your shoddy work to do that, that's not a good experience. And it's not their job. And if they're like me, they're going to experience that and stop, right? They're not going to spend a lot of time on it if it's something, you know, really bad. Now, all that being said is that, you know, I understand that some of these places are, you know, one person or a few person, handful of people, shops. Cool. Prioritize your projects. And get to done on at least one of them. Or two of them. And reach out to the community. Ask for help. I'm more than happy to put time into something if I feel like I'm part of the project and part of the process. But if you charge me money for something and release it, and it doesn't work on a really fundamental level, that's anger making. If I'm part of the community and it's being provided to me for free to actually contribute, evaluate, fix things, document those fixes, and make them available to the community myself, then, or as part of the team, that's a different story, right? That's a different relationship. Anyway, I commend developers like Abulzz, Shin 956, Fat Alfie, Sergio Loro, just countless others that are amazing modders, do great work, make that work available for free or at a reasonable cost. And when it's released, even early access or work in progress, it functions. It works at a basic level, and it's a thing of beauty. Because I am getting to see things early, and I am getting to play with them and have fun, and that's cool. But they've done the work to make it easy to test it out and have fun with it, even if artistically it may not be complete. It functions in the environment that it's meant to function in. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox now. Probably beat this dead horse. It really ticked me off when I downloaded that stuff and really legitimately wanted to see it, wanted to actually work with it, and just couldn't because of the state that it was in. It hurts me. This is a decently long stage. Tried to drive this a couple of times, and you've probably seen a few of the tire marks where I went off. And in those places, you see I almost went off again, going too fast, coming into a corner. This is just gorgeous, man. I'm not going super fast, but it's a tough drive. But really amazingly beautiful. I guess the process here with the photogrammetry and the LIDAR collection is that they're taking the roads as they exist now and then using photos and other things to figure out what the road would have looked like in 73 to correct for it, and then fabricate that in sim. A cool process. I want to learn more about it. I've been wanting to read some of the documentation that exists for using Blender. Oh, there we go. That's the end of the stage. So there's been a lot of work, and a lot of people have referenced it around building tracks, and it's getting, I won't say easier, but more accessible in terms of what can be done. And one of the things that I think is super cool is that some of the AI, if you're following model control protocol and other things, I'm going to stop before I fall off this map. Model control protocol for getting agentic AI access to the tools that are needed for it to perform tasks. And there is a MCP for Blender that sounds really interesting from the standpoint of providing it with raw data inputs and then allowing AI to actually do different things in Blender. And I've not seen anybody try to do that with track development yet. at least not nobody that's actually speaking out loud, raising their hand, saying that that's how they're doing it. But I think that there's an opportunity there that you could speed up the process for some of the basic block and tackling of track modding using AI, and then using the human in the loop to refine that and make it look a lot better, and do the artistic pieces of it that AI can't maybe do as easily, or without input from humans at all. So I'm curious to see how that kind of flows out. So I've been reading a lot about a whole bunch of different things, MCP being one of them, use of agentic AI, but also about the process of developing maps. And I've talked about this before, there are countless roads in Northern California that I would love to see modeled in Assetto Corsa. And down the road, if I can build up enough understanding of how I could actually leverage Blender through AI agentic workflows, that might be a way for a one-man shop to actually do some of that work. Of course, doing it all exclusively from open map data is challenging, but not impossible. So going out and taking all the pictures on all the roads and stuff, that's countless hours of effort that I'm not sure I can commit to, although there may be other ways around that as well. So anyway, now I'm just blathering on. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that this was interesting. I wanted to see this. I've been wanting to look at it for some time, and I just haven't had the time, and I happened to have a hole in the schedule and thought that this might fit in nicely. Hope you've had as much fun as I did, and that you enjoyed the scenery and the drive and the babbling rant. That was my talk about my disappointment with some specific modders out there, and how they approach the work in progress, and early access problem. I don't know. I don't know if it's a problem. Um, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, and I think that people are starting to catch on to that and express some anger about that in a lot of different areas, not just with mod development, but in whole game development, and release. Early access seems to be the bait and switch, and there are right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. I've been listening a lot to Gamer Muscle, and I find myself really liking what he says, which disturbs me on so many levels. I don't drink tea, but the guy actually says a lot of smart things sometimes. Check out his video on Wreckfest 2. He just recently did. Wreckfest 2 just released an update not too long ago, and some really cool stuff going on there. I may actually look at that at some point down the road as well. Again, I've already looked at it once, and I was very impressed. But Gamer Muscle did an updated video talking about their lean in on becoming more simulator-like, which is interesting. Anyway, check out that video. It's fun. Wreckfest 2 is an amazing thing, and they do early access right. And there are a few others that I'm not going to name and talk about that haven't done early access as well. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.
Spaß machen Rennsport.